Oh, yeah, pipe smokers. Guess who? It's Paul the Pipe Guy on the Paul Gilson YouTube channel. Yeah. So I've been thinking, today I was thinking, it just popped into my head, how do some people live so long? How do some people just seem to have just a happy life? And I started thinking about many of those things, okay? And so as the day progressed, I was writing some things down and I came up with 10 things that I really had to learn. And, we're going to mention some things about my beliefs in the Lord above and so forth. I'm not going to be preaching at anybody. I'm just going to tell you what has worked for me in my life and why my life feels so peaceful, and happy and joyful. So grab your favorite pipe and grab your favorite blend and grab a beverage and let's have a smoke together. Yeah, this really I think is going to really I think everybody's going to get something out of this. So I hope you do. All right. So I've got this beautiful Mr. Bragg pipe. It's the biggest bowl I have. It's huge. Look at it next to my thumb. It's a monster. And inside of that, I've got some 4-year-old Scotty's butternut burley. And yeah, so that was one of the things where I just treated myself good. I hadn't bought a pipe in a while. This one was actually made by the owner of Mr. Bragg himself. The owner made this one. There's only one like it. And it wasn't on the cheap side. It wasn't $300-400. The price doesn't matter. It was an expensive pipe, and it was something that was in my budget, and I got it. So let's start something on fire. Yeah. So what are we going to talk about tonight? That's the big question. I know what we're going to talk about. That's good. Oh, that's so good. I think pipe smokers are people that reflect and ponder on things. They sit in deep thought. Because smoking a pipe really sometimes is almost like a trance-like state, almost like meditation, really. And I think a lot of you would agree with me. Just the idea of puffing a nice blend through a beautiful pipe. I don't care if it's a corn cob pipe and you're smoking corn silk as long as you're enjoying it. So I'm going to share some of my thoughts tonight. You're all not going to agree with them. I'm sure many of you will, though. I'm going to share some of my spiritual thoughts. But the topic really is how to live a good, joyful, healthy life. There's one fact. We are all going to die at some point in time. Unfortunately, there's babies that are stillborn. There's children that pass away. That's a very unfortunate thing. Some people pass away when they're young adults. Some people of all age groups. Some people make it into their 70s, 80s. Some people reach 100. But while you have this time on this earth, I think there's 10 key points that I've thought about all day that are really important to me, and as far as my life structure and how I keep things balanced in my head, both, spiritual, physical, and emotional. I think number one, and these aren't necessarily in any order, I think it's important to eat healthy. Um, I think to stay in relatively fair shape, you don't have to be a gym rat or anything, but if you're constantly eating just potato chips and junk food and super fatty foods and stuff like that, I know when I'm starting to lose weight, you can see it in my face. Um, I know when I started eating crappy, I didn't have that happy, joyful mindset that I did when I was eating pretty good, eating pretty healthy and stuff. I think, number two, exercise is really a good key. I mean, I remember when I was a teenager, I was a runner. I felt my best when I was out running. 14, 15, 16 years old, I ran cross country. And that exercise just cleared my head. I felt so good. And when I get exercise at work, I just feel good. Um, Number three is to keep a low stress level. The three things, in my opinion, that will kill you the fastest is number one, eating unhealthy, getting no exercise, and having a high stress level. Those three things will kill you faster than fast. I think low stress is a big key in that. And there's some things that in our lives that I'm going to touch on that create us stress, or at least it has me. And probably you guys too, and girls. Um, I don't worry about things that I used to worry about. I'm 60 years old now. I've kind of been around the block a little bit. I used to worry about a lot of stuff. I had to always be in control of everything. I'm not that way anymore. I go in and I do my job. I come home, I have a few beers. Cheers, by the way. I can't wait to just get home. This is my solace, okay? I also think number four is try not to let things bother you. Don't sweat the small stuff. There was a book somebody wrote, I can't remember the author. It was called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff because it's all small stuff, okay? So, if your boss is on you or you got financial problems or you're going through a divorce, yeah, it's hard. It's easy to say, don't let that bother you, but everything shall pass. So number four would try not to let things bother you. Number five would be don't be an angry person. There's people I see that are just so negative. The weather sucks today. Well, at least you got to work. There's angry people that, and I've seen them, sometimes they just have anger outbursts. And a key thing with that is they let things build up inside of them. I just try not to worry about shit anymore. I think another key thing, which is number 6 on my list, is called forgiveness. Easily forgive one another. My belief is that I have a heavenly Father. His Son came down here, Jesus Christ. He died for our sins so that we could be forgiven. Only through him can we get through to the Father. Those are my basic spiritual beliefs. I don't go to any particular religion. I don't believe any particular religion is the only true religion. But I do believe it's important to believe in something. I think it's important that you believe that and know that you have a creator. I think it's important to know that that creator sent his Son down, who died on the cross, was a felon, set up so that we could be forgiven. And I want to talk about forgiveness a little more. That's number 6 on my list. There's many ways to forgive. Sometimes the person can come to you and say, look, I did you wrong or whatever. Will you please forgive me? And they might have hurt you real bad, but if they're sincere, it's important to show them compassion. Because they've come to you, they've asked for forgiveness. Whether you forgive them or not, they're going to be free. And that goes on to other topics that we're going to talk about. It's important to forgive easily. Number 7, I personally don't, let's talk about forgiveness again, number 6. Johnny Cash, probably one of the greatest Christians I've ever seen. He was a huge sinner, Johnny Cash, the musician. And he had a lot of regret. Most of his life, he had an immense amount of regret for what he put his family through, his friends, and so forth, the things he did, and so forth. And Johnny Cash said one time, he says, I went to the Lord and I asked him to forgive me. And then I went to the people that I wronged. He said, I asked them to forgive me. And he said, but the third thing, it was the hardest thing for me to do, was to forgive myself. Let me repeat that. He asked the Lord to forgive him for his sins. He went to the people that he wronged. He asked them, he apologized and asked for their forgiveness. But he said the hardest thing he ever had to do after he did all of that was to forgive himself. And that's what we need to do. We need to forgive ourselves once those other steps have been taken. Sometimes you can't reach out to somebody that you've wronged. They want nothing to do with you or whatever. And so you just ask the Lord, I do, to forgive me. And then I try to forgive myself. Carrying those burdens around are going to do nothing, regret and anger and grudges and all of that. It's going to do nothing but make you sick. It's going to end your life prematurely. It's a sickness inside of you that will fester and eat you from the inside out alive. Number 7 is I try not to hold any grudges at all. I don't have a grudge against one person. I don't believe in it. I think having a grudge against somebody is not forgiving them. And that's another thing, you hold a grudge and you think about them and so forth. And I could give you examples in my life where I've held grudges for a while and then I was like, this isn't worth it, man. Just, let it be. I love the song that the Beatles came out with, Let It Be. There's so many times during the week when I just say, you know what? I go to get angry about something or offended about something or somebody wrongs me or whatever. And I'm just like, take a deep breath. And I think of that song and I'm just like, let it be. I see somebody else doing something wrong or doing this or doing that, maybe not working. It's none of my business. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. All right, I won't try to sing it. Vengeance. Vengeance can really burn you up bad. Vengeance is where you want to equal the score because somebody did something to you or somebody that you care about, maybe a family member, and you want to get them back. You want to get even. Don't do that. Let it be. There's nothing wrong with self-defense. Self-defense is different from vengeance. That's number 8. Number 9 is treat yourself good. All right? Be good to yourself. Love yourself. When you look in the mirror in the morning, if there's something that you don't like about yourself, work on it. And sometimes it does take work. Sometimes, I don't like the type of person I am for whatever reason. Okay, well, sit down and think about that for a minute. Write those things down, what you don't like about yourself. And then write down underneath them, what you can do to change those things that you don't like about yourself. I've done that, Treat yourself good, yeah. If it's in your budget and you want to buy a nice pipe like that, buy it. Treat yourself good. The other thing I think we might have covered a little bit is don't worry. I mean, I, throughout my life, have been a constant overthinker, The boss will come in and say, the boss used to come in and say something, whatever, and then I would overthink it and overthink, well, did he mean this, or did he mean that, or blah, 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 blah. Finally, I don't worry about it no more. I just do what the boss says. I don't worry about it no more. I don't worry about things that are out of my control. I used to, a lot. And that caused me severe anxiety. I used to be like, well, what if this happens, or what if that happens? And all of a sudden, you've got yourself in this box where it's like, what if this happens? What if that happens? What am I going to do? And you're trying to think of 100 different ways to react to 100 different things that could possibly happen that most likely won't. Don't worry about it. When they happen, just deal with them. Surround yourself with good people. The people that are toxic in your life, if you don't want to drink, and let's say you quit drinking and your buddies are like, come on. If they can't respect that you got rid of that problem for a reason, get rid of them. They're not your buddies. I had to do a lot of that. I had to get a lot of toxic people out of my life that were either very negative, and negative people will drain you. They'll drain your batteries. They will drain the life out of you. So enjoy life. Get up in the morning. I prepare my stuff. I have my clothes laid out. I like to be organized in the morning, so I'm not running around for 15 different things. My bags are all packed ready. My backpack is ready to go with my water and blah, blah, blah. Everything I need for the day. My lunch is made in the fridge. If you prepare ahead of time and you're not running around like, oh, I'm going to be late, that creates a ton of stress, raises your heart rate, your blood pressure, all of that stuff. So prepare the things that you can prepare the day before for the next day. And it'll make it, you'll wake up and you'll be like, my clothes are all right there. My boots are right there. My shoes are right there. Oh, my lunch is packed. All I got to do is take it out of the fridge and throw it in my bag and put it in the fridge at work. I'm prepared. I can wake up, relax. I want to smoke a pipe, I can. Have a cup of coffee. I got time and I'm not running around with my hair on fire. All right, take my shower, relax, go to work, and it's peaceful. Anyways, those are my thoughts. And I'm going to finish this bowl. But believe in something, believe in something good. Believe that there's one above. Believe that he sent his son down here so that you can be forgiven. There's nobody that's trash, all right? There's nobody that's beyond redemption. We could all be good people. Anyways, those were some of the things popped into my head throughout the day. I wrote them down. Hope you enjoyed our Thursday night smoke together. I'm going to finish up this bowl, have another beer, and make some dinner. I'm Paul the Pipe Guy, over and out. And thanks for watching.